right. Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone
Hello.
today? Welcome, Bronwyn. Today we're here with Bronwyn from Victoria, and we are talking about the benefits that going toxic-free can have, like building that toxic-free lifestyle can have on you, on your health. And Bronwyn has very generously been willing to share with us today. So first of all, Bronwyn, let's hear from you. I want to know a little bit about what life was like for you before you began this toxic-free journey.
Oh, okay. All right. So before I was actually diagnosed as a diabetic back in '97 after my mum passed away, and progressively turned into insulin. Then I ended up with complications, and it's been I haven't been a very well person for a long time,
Mm.
and so I've tried a lot of different avenues, I guess, through medical and through courses and supplements, and although I've had some benefits through naturopath, I've found that there's always been some missing link. It just has to be something else that I need to do. And so I've done a lot of research in health and that, and there's a lot of things that actually can I list some of the things that I've written on my phone of what I was actually experiencing? I
Yeah,
prepared a little bit. So
yeah.
all right. So so the diabetic complications were vision. I had suffered from a thing called neuropathy, which is a condition of the eyes,
Yep.
and blood vessels would burst and cause blockage. I also had issues with nerve pain, kidneys. I've got kidney issues, circulation, insulin resistance, hypersensitivity, all that sort of stuff associated with diabetes.
Yeah, wow.
It's,
It really is the whole body, isn't it?
yeah,
It's
it is.
not
It
just
is.
something happening internally, it's affecting every area.
Yeah, it affected my energy levels. I generally felt unwell quite often. I suffered from vertigo. I had muscle fatigue, joints cramps, um, fatty pancreas eventually as well.
Yep.
And these were things that got progressively worse as time went on, because the sugar levels wouldn't come down due to the insulin insensitivity. Gut issues, lots of cramping, ended up with food intolerances, and so they diagnosed me with IBS.
Hmm.
Found out that if I stopped eating wheat for a little while, then I could, it wasn't IBS. I don't know. It was just really one of those things where I got tested for celiac, wasn't celiac. They just couldn't figure out what was going on with me. And a lot of it, I think, comes back to the diabetes,
Yeah.
but also the fact that when you become insulin resistant, it does affect, like you said, so many areas of the body, to the point where I couldn't function. I found that I was sleeping quite regularly in the afternoon.
Mm.
I actually ended up 5 years ago having to quit work. Got issues of vertigo at work, running into walls, and running into cabinets. When I tried to talk to people, I couldn't talk and walk. I had to walk and then stop and talk, and then
Yep.
it was just,
Yep.
it was terrible. Blood pressure was above average. Kidneys were leaking, sinus issues. In the time of the month, I was unable to function around that time as well. What else have I mentioned? Oh, look, I could go on and on and on.
Was
Sleep was
something-
affected.
was there
Yep.
something at that a point in that journey where you're feeling so unwell that made you look at a natural alternative? Like, what was it that made you have a look at going toxic free and searching out natural alternatives?
I was over getting unwell all the time. I think I got to a place where I think I was out with friends, and I just were having a lovely time, and I started getting dizzy spells, and just wasn't coping. And I thought I was just over not being able to live life, and I was just existing,
Yep.
and working too. I couldn't even do my job. I found that the job was full on, busy, government job, and the contract was ending, and I couldn't. I found even then, just before I was the contract ended. It was a full-time job. I was looking for part-time before that, and I couldn't find anything full-time, so anything part-time. So I ended up having to work 5 days. By the time Thursday afternoon hit, I wasn't functioning as well. And the Friday, and the supervisor brought me in and said, "What's going on with you, Bron? You've applied for a job. Can you do this job?" And I knew I was able to do it, but my physical health wasn't able to cope with it, and mentally I wasn't able to cope with it because I wasn't coping physically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it through your own research, or did someone introduce you to something, or how did that transition happen?
Oh gosh. I think I stumbled across something called The Truth About Cancer, and I don't know how, but I actually ended up somehow getting invited to this series that they had a free series on for about a week, and I watched it, and my eyes were opened to a lot of things I didn't realize about some of the stuff, which I probably couldn't say any, but it was just things that were just mind blowing. And I thought, wow, no wonder I'm not getting any better.
Yeah.
The medical industry has got so many limitations as to what they can do for you. And a lot of the times I felt it was Band-Aid fixes. And so I ended up turning to a naturopath, and the naturopath helped me quite considerably. But there were still things that weren't quite locking in for me. There were still things that weren't happening. And so I changed my diet for 6 months last year, where I didn't have any wheat, any dairy, any pork, any processed foods, any gluten-free stuff. Like even the gluten-free products, I had to go flours or tapioca or coconut flours. So I did a total wash of everything and went to basics. I thought, oh gosh, what am I going to eat? But I ended up finding out that there were certain things you could eat, and ended up working that out. But even then, my gut got a bit better, but there were still things in my body, like my insulin was still high, like my blood sugar levels were still high, insulin resistance.
It's
Even,
isn't it?
it was full on, and they didn't know what to do with me. Like I would have these symptoms and these issues, and like for vertigo, they checked my ears. They couldn't figure out what was going on. It wasn't my ears or anything like that. And they said, oh, it must be this. You must have positional vertigo, or you had migraines as a child, or therefore it must be something that's happening now that, with the migraines. But I knew there was something else that was going on that was better than that, but I think at the time I spent so much money trying to figure it out and getting the courses and the supplements. Nothing was working. It was working, but it wasn't working to, you know what I mean? Like there was still some results, but not.
Yeah. So have you found something that has created a bit of a transition for you, and how is it helping?
Yeah, well, I think you've got to take on the whole holistic lifestyle. I don't think you can take one section and go, I'm just going to do that. And for me, I think the diet was a big part of it to start with, and just making sure that I was eating well. But what I've found is some of the products through Young Living, actually, I didn't realize Young Living was actually a missing link to so you can still get the rest you need. You can still get, well, I wasn't sleeping. You can still change your diet, get the exercise and that, but there were still other things going on, and I was still doubling up on my insulin, and even though I was on a better diet. And I found that some of the products that I found that really helped me for Young Living was, hang on, sorry. All right, so to start with, I got a sample from someone. So how I got introduced to Young Living was through, I had a toothache, and someone gave me some clove oil with some carrier oil. And from that toothache, I used it and it worked. And I knew about Young Living beforehand, but I wasn't interested because I just got out of network marketing. And I thought, oh, tell me more about this Young Living. I need to know more about this. And anyway, so I found that some of the products that worked was Digize, that helped with a lot of the cramping in the stomach. I found that Panaway was great for muscle fatigue. RC was great for the sinuses. Stress Away helped with the anxiety and the depression. And then I started to take on some more things, like tried to use some blends with peppermint, lemon, and lavender, just to sinuses as well. So I started getting some great results, and no side effects from these,
Mm.
because I was on sprays and all sorts of things. Endoflex helped with the hormones. Clove, I use clove for open wounds because they took a long time to heal. And I also used it on cold sores. I used to break out in cold sores, and they take a matter of days to
Yeah.
go now. Not even a day sometimes. I mean, I'll wake up the next morning and it's diminished.
Yeah.
On. I'm more regular in my bowels. I've found that I think it's the lemon oils. I'm still discovering what these oils can do, because there's multifacets to what the oils and the products can do.
Yeah, for sure.
The body products have been absolutely wonderful. I don't know whether it's, I have a couple of testimonies with the products already. I went to go and see my naturopath, and my naturopath said to me, Bronnie, you're so radiant. She goes, your skin's just so beautiful. And I said, yeah, all I've been using is Young Living Skin Range and Geranium. And she goes, oh, keep going, keep doing it, because it looks great. Now,
Yeah.
I never had really bad skin, but I had a lot of blotchy, like red.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
and I'm normally red anyway, but through that, she noticed that my pores were just, a lot open and a lot bigger, and yeah, I looked a lot more youthful. And the
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
testimony I've got is I went to the dentist, and I thought that I had an issue with a tooth. We went to go and, because I had black around the tooth, and he looked at it and he said, no, it's just stains. But I said, well, what do you think of my teeth and my gums? I said, can you have a look to see if there's anything else I need filled? He said, oh, your teeth and gums are a lot better than the last time I saw you. And I've been using the mouthwash and the toothpaste. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's just
Amazing.
things that are going on that are getting better results than I had, you know, I don't know. I'm blown away.
A year ago, where would you have said you were on a health scale, 0 to 10? 10 being fit and healthy and no pain, 0 being in, absolute agony, feeling like you're about to die. Where would you fit? Where would have you been about a year ago?
2.
2.
Yeah.
Wow. And what about today? Where do you feel like you're on that scale now?
I've only been on the journey for a little while. So maybe probably more 5.
Wow.
So I could do a lot better, but it's yeah.
Yes, it's a process, isn't it? It is
Mm.
a process. That's fantastic. Very exciting. All right, I had another question for you. And so, hang on, let me just it's disappeared. Okay, so how long have you been on this journey then? What, 2 months, 3 months, or longer?
Probably 4. I,
The toxic-free products that you've been using, because you've been
yeah.
pursuing a healthy, diet and those sorts of things probably for longer, but then you've started to see more of a transition. How long's that been for?
Well, I had the product 6 months ago, started 6 months, but I didn't use them for 2 months because I felt them to be a bit precious.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do with them. And so I got encouraged by one of the girls in Young Living, or ladies, and she said, start using them. And so I ended up doing some research on what to do with them, and so probably 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
and slowly adopting the other products. Yeah, yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
And so what would you say to somebody that they're feeling pretty rotten themselves. Maybe they've experienced some of the symptoms that you described at the beginning. But they're feeling like, like everything that they're using is not working that great. So how on earth can essential oils really help? What would you say to someone facing that decision right now, whether to go toxic free and start replacing their products?
Do it. I think that you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I've found that little bit by little bit, and I don't think you could take it all on at once, because I know for me, the journey of researching health has been a long time.
Yeah.
But I think start somewhere, start gradual, start with a naturopath, and then, get advice. Don't assume that what you're experiencing is, oh, it's just on your face. Oh, look, I'm breaking out with something. It
Yeah.
could be something else going on. So get advice, and then start looking at products like Young Living. That's definitely going to help, because I think that after you get the advice you need, then look at something that's going to meet that,
Yeah.
find that solution. And
Yeah.
that's what I did. I got the advice first. And it took a long time to get to Young Living, because a girlfriend was in it 10 years ago. And I just wasn't interested then. But I realize now that I wish I started sooner. But
I hear that a lot.
yeah.
Yeah. So if if there was something that you were looking forward to in the future with all your health and the things that you're doing, what would that be? What are you excited about ahead?
I think to be able to have the energy and the endurance to be able to get through my day um, without feeling so drained and tired all the time would be a plus. I know that that's already happening. I'm not taking as many afternoon naps as I used to, which is a definite positive. But yeah, no, just to be able to feel like my age or even younger would be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you
yeah.
so much for sharing with us today, Bronwyn. I know that your story will encourage someone and give them hope that there is a way out from where they're feeling.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks.
so thanks so much, and I hope everyone enjoys just hearing from Bronwyn. All right,
Thank
catch
you.
you later.
Bye.